affect Ghana presence?
Production.
Objectives. After learning this, you should be able to 1. Explain the meaning of primary production. 2. Examine the contribution of primary production to the economy of Ghana. 3. Examine the problems of primary production in Ghana. 4. Suggest ways to add value to primary production in Ghana.
What is production?
Production is the process by which things are made. It can also be defined as the creation of goods and services to satisfy human wants. Production is complete only when the goods or services reach the final consumer. The factors of production are land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. Types of production.
What are the 3 types of production?
The 3 main types of production are 1. Primary production. 2. Secondary production. 3. Tertiary production. 1. Primary production. This is the process of producing or extracting raw materials, which already exist in nature. For example, fishing is a primary production, because the fisherman takes from the sea or lake the fish that already lives in the water. Farming, mining, etc. are all primary production. Another name for primary production is the extractive industry. 2. Secondary production. It involves turning raw materials into finished and semi-finished goods, such as soap, cloth, radio, cars, furniture, books, televisions, pens, shoes, etc. It is called secondary production because they change or transform. The raw materials are produced by the primary industry into finished goods. Examples of secondary industries are the Tema cocoa processing industry, the furniture industry, the aluminium industry, Unilever, etc. The products of the secondary industries, such as soap, cloth, radio, cars etc. are called secondary products. Another name for the secondary industry is called the manufacturing industry. 3. Tertiary production. It is the production of services to support primary and secondary production and the general development of the country. For example, when a teacher teaches students, the teacher has produced a service, and when a doctor treats a patient or a sick person, then the doctor has produced a service. The tertiary production sector includes teaching, the legal system, banking and finance, the transport industry, hotels and catering, tourism, etc. Another name for the tertiary industry is the services industry.
Give some examples of primary industries and their locations.
The mining industry. Nsada, Obuasi, Owasso, Akwadia and Tarkwa. The fishing industry. Winneba, Accra, Tema, etc. Oil palm plantation. Benso, Chuafo, Sursi, Kwai, Kati, Bunso, Ijeama, Joaban. Rubber plantation. Bonsiso, Bunso, Grilgana Rubber Estate Limited at Uxxim. Citrus. Asibu. Mango. Nsawam, Samania. Cocoa plantation. Typical. Tafo. Suncora, 1,000 acres. Jute. Ejura. Tema Fishing Corporation. Tema.
Give some examples of secondary industries and their locations.
Wood processing industry. Takoradi. Mim. etc. Cocoa processing industry. Takoradi. Tema. Tafo. Food canning industry. Dama. Nsawam. Wenchi. Textiles industry. Dama. Okasumbo. Juapong. Aluminum industry. Dama. Chemical industry. Dama. Accra. Oil refinery. Dama. Cement industry. Dama. Takoradi. Aflao. Rubber processing industry. Bonsa, or Bonsaso. Tire molding. Takoradi. Accra. Dama. Flour milling. Takoradi. Dama. Lime juice. Abakrampa. Asibu. Steelworks. Dama. Breweries. Accra. Kumasi.
Give some examples of tertiary industries and their locations.
The insurance industry. Accra. Kumasi. Dama. The hotel industry. Accra. Kumasi. Takoradi. Cape Coast. Banking industry. Accra. Kumasi. Cape Coast. Kinds of primary production. Ghana's primary production includes agriculture, the timber industry, fishing industry, and the mining industry. Agriculture includes the preparation of land for growing of crops, fishing and the rearing of animals. In Ghana, many people are engaged in agricultural activities. Agriculture is the most important occupation in Ghana. Some people produce crops and others rear animals. The following describes food and industrial crop production and animal rearing. Food crops. The food crops which are grown in Ghana include cereals and root crops all over the country. There are farmers whose main work is to produce food crops. Some crops grow well in the savanna areas, while others grow well in the forest areas. The crops that grow well in savanna areas are millet, maize, rice, guinea corn, groundnuts, tomatoes and onions. The farmers clear the land with the help of fire, or with the hoe. Then the hoe or bullock plow is used to till the land. This makes the soil loose, so that the crops can grow well. The crops that grow well in the forest areas are cassava, maize, water yam, cocoyam, plantain, pepper and garden eggs. The farmers use the cutlass to clear the land. Some of the big trees are left to stand on the cleared land. Others are cut down with the axe. When the litter get dried up, fire is set to it. The land is then made ready for planting. Export and industrial crops. Apart from food crops, some farmers also grow commercial and industrial crops. Commercial crops are those which are grown mainly for sale to people in other countries, or for the manufacture of goods in our factories. Some of the crops grown are oil palm, coffee, sugarcane, coconut, tobacco, jute, cotton, rubber and cocoa. The most important of our commercial crops is cocoa. Of all the goods which we export, cocoa and its products give us 48% of the money we receive. The cocoa industry. The most important commercial crop in Ghana is cocoa. Cocoa was brought to Ghana by the Dutch missionaries in 1815. However, this did not result in the spread of cocoa cultivation until Tete Kwarshi, a native of Accra, returned from Fernando Po in 1879 with a Molinado cocoa pods. Farmers bought pods from his farm to plant, and cocoa cultivation spread from the Akwapim area to other parts of the eastern region. Remember that Tete Kwarshi's cocoa was grown on a large scale, on farms he set up at Mampong Akwapim. Today cocoa is mostly grown in the forest zone of Ashanti, Brong Ahafo, the eastern, Central and Volta regions. The types of cocoa grown in Ghana are Amazonia, Amolinado and the hybrid. The Amazonia takes 3 to 7 years to bear fruits, the Amolinado takes 5 to 7 years to bear fruits, and the hybrid, 2 to 3 years to bear fruits. Cocoa grows very well in soil that are fertile, well-drained and retains water. Most of these soils are heavy loams, or light clays. It needs rainfall of at least 1,500 mm a year. The amount of rainfall must also be very well spread during the year. Cocoa also needs shade, especially during the early growth.
Which diseases attack cocoa?